Everyone's talking about Canada's tough real estate market, but nobody's talking about what's happening in Moncton. I get it, it's small. We just had our biggest month yet with $142 million in sales. Well, buyers are actually taking their time. And here's the kicker. You could build a brand new 1,200 square foot semi in Riverview for what a tiny condo would cost you in Vancouver. I'm Cameron Brioux, your local realtor, and I'll show you why affordable markets like ours are driving Canada's real growth story. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It would mean the world to me if you hit subscribe. I create videos like this every week to help you buy, sell, invest, and navigate the Canadian real estate market. Today's video is part of a special series. Now, down in the description, you will find multiple Canadian market updates, each focused on different regions across the country. So go down and check it out. What you'll see is that while major centers grab headlines, the real opportunities are happening in places like Greater Moncton. So let's jump right in. All right, let's start with the facts. May 2025 in Greater Moncton, $142 million of sales volume happened, over 367 transactions, which got our median price to $356,550. Now, compare that to where we started the year in January with approximately $68 million in sales, over 179 transactions. That's more than double the sales volume in just 4 months. While national headlines are focusing on declining sales and rising inventory in Toronto and Vancouver, we've seen steady, consistent growth every single month this year. So with sales close to $72 million in February, $93 million in March, $114 million in April, and $142 million in May in Greater Moncton. That's not market decline. That's where market affordability is driving real demand. Here's where things get really interesting, and this is why I think affordable markets are the real story in Canada right now. So let's talk about some numbers that will compare Riverview, New Brunswick to Vancouver with some data that I collected. And this is just for example purposes to highlight a gap in what we'll call affordability. So in Vancouver, a condo ranging in size will cost you about $1 million to $1.2 million just to buy. And then on top of that, there could be another $20,000 for your land transfer tax, and then property taxes within your first year, approximately $3,500, plus the strata fees, which could range, but let's use $10,000. So your first year cost of ownership, over $1.1 million. Now in Riverview, New Brunswick, you can build a brand new semi, about 1,200 square feet for about... Now, there are different rebate programs and first-time buyer programs, but account for $4,100 in property tax and 1% of your purchase price as land transfer, which could bring you to about $500,000 all in. Think about that for a second. You can build a brand new home here for less than half of what it costs you to own a condo in Vancouver. And at the time of recording, there are many first-time homebuyer programs and incentives that could make that gap even wider. Now, here's where things get interesting. In my day-to-day work, I'm seeing something that might sound contradictory. Buyers are taking their time, but the market is still performing. I had buyers shopping in the $600,000 range who looked at about 12 homes over 4 weeks. In Toronto or Vancouver, those properties would have been gone in multiple offers within a few days of listing. But here in Moncton, they had time to really think through it, do their homework, visit the neighborhoods multiple times, and make a confident decision. That's the kind of measured market we're seeing, and it's actually healthier for everyone. You see, those May sales, most of those properties were actually listed in March and April. So we had a solid spring listing season, and now we're seeing those convert into sales. It's not panic buying driven by FOMO. It's thoughtful, educated buyers making moves when the math actually makes sense. This is the piece that the national media is missing. While Vancouver and Toronto struggle with affordability, markets like Greater Moncton and most of Atlantic Canada is where the real growth is happening. First, we have real affordability, and it does create demand. When people can actually afford to buy homes, they do. Second, quality of life matters. That $500,000 home gets you a beautiful new product with a yard, and there's no condo fees. Third are the economic fundamentals. Our local economy is stable at the time of recording. We're not seeing massive job loss or downsizing like other markets, and we're being driven by healthcare, education, warehousing, and distribution. Fourth, there's room to grow. This might be controversial, but when young families and professionals can actually build wealth through homeownership, they stay, they spend, and they invest locally. When you look at our days on market of 33 days in May, that's not a stagnant market. That is where properties move because the fundamentals make sense. So, what does this all mean for you? If you're considering a move, if you're thinking about relocating from a major city center, now could be the time to run the numbers. Your Toronto or Vancouver home equity could set you up completely here. Mortgage-free home ownership plus money left over for investments. If you're a local thinking about buying, you are in a sweet spot. You have selection, you have time to make educated decisions, and you're buying in a market with real fundamentals and not speculation. If you're thinking about selling, the data shows steady, sustained demand. Your home will likely sell fast if it's priced correctly. I know you've heard me say that a lot on this channel. And if you're an investor, this is exactly the kind of stable growth that you'll want to see. Not wild speculation, not boom and bust cycles, steady, sustainable market activity driven by actual affordability. Looking ahead, I'm optimistic about Greater Moncton's market. While major centers deal with affordability crisis and policy uncertainty, we're building something sustainable here. That $142 million May number, I really don't think that's a fluke. I think that's what happens when markets work the way that they're supposed to, where people can actually afford to participate. The national conversation about Canadian real estate needs to include markets like ours because this is where real opportunity happens. So there you have it, Greater Moncton's spring market reality check. While other major centers make headlines about struggles, affordable markets are quietly driving Canada's real growth story. If you found this market update helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps more people discover these regional insights in Greater Moncton. And don't forget to check out the other Canadian market updates that are linked down in the description. If you are thinking about making a move to Moncton, I would love to chat about your specific situation. There is a link also down in the description where you can book a call with me and we can see if this is a good fit for you. Whether you're relocating from a major city center or buying your first home locally, or you're just curious about what your home might be worth, I would love to connect and build a plan that makes sense for you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.